Thank you very much for watching this video. Before we begin, I wanted to include a disclaimer, as I include in my about section as well as in the description of this video. All of my readings are for entertainment purposes only. They are never, ever meant to diagnose, treat, or otherwise have any influence upon your own medical issues or situations that you may have. I always encourage everyone to make their own sound decisions, including legal matters, financial matters, and every other matter in your own life. These are for entertainment purposes only. As these are general tea leaf readings, again, it makes sense, therefore, that some of this information will resonate with you and some of it may not. You may find that some applies and some doesn't. That is completely normal and to be expected, as these are general tea leaf readings. So again, take what you will and leave what you don't, and simply enjoy your reading and hope that you find it informative and insightful. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you most likely know by now, my name is Sarah, and yes, I am a coffee drinking tea leaf reader. How are you doing today? I am following up my previous video where I looked retroactively at the weeks of March 27th and April 3rd for this tea leaf reading, catching up, and this is for the weeks of April the 10th and April the 17th. Interesting number. Wink, wink. Hope that your week is going very well. I'm recording this on the evening of April the 17th on the Monday night rather. And I hope that your past week has been going well. I hope that your entire month has been going well. I was able to, if you're watching this, you probably have already seen that I have posted the previous tea leaf reading that I just did for the March 27th and April 3rd. And now I'm recording this tea leaf reading, looking retroactively at last week. So like whatever we most need to know, as always. And also this for this week too, going forward until this weekend and heading into next week. So I do hope that you enjoy this tea leaf reading as always, and that you find it helpful. And I apologize for all the delays. It's just been simply a case of one thing after another and not in divine timing, but ultimately all in divine timing because it's all in divine order. So I just was not supposed to record this before now, but now I am, and I do hope that you enjoy it, albeit slightly delayed, but catching up there. If I was reading for you as a client face-to-face through a video call like this, I would be showing you the tea leaves, so I will quickly do so. So if you look in here, you can see the tea leaves. I'm going to be including pictures of these tea leaves in this video, most likely at the end of the video, so you can take a look at them for yourself, and yeah, just for your own reference. So those are the leaves. I haven't even looked at them really yet. Oh my gosh, okay. Well, that's a busy 2 weeks. Okay, so again, I read chronologically. So we're looking at the cup as though we are looking at the beginning of last week, which is April the 10th. So around the midway mark, approximately, it will be today, as of like today, this week, May 17th week. April 17th, rather. So now on the way in later is how I read chronologically, and let's begin. I'm going to turn the light up right now, so I do have some better lighting. So my apologies for any change in lighting here that you'll see on your screen. Okay, and here we go. It does look like last week it did begin a few smaller events and scenarios taking place, and also some major or more important ones. I would say, however, that there was 3 events or situations taking place at the start of last week that were more significant than the others, and of those 3, there was one that was actually more prominent than the other 2. Again, we do have that one main event or situation, which is a layout that I often see, as well as around the sides of the cup, specifically 6 areas. Things were calmer, clear, and quiet. Depends on how you look at them and count them, anywhere from essentially 6 to 8 different situations. I would just say in layouts like this, it's a small reminder to pace ourselves and to use our time wisely, and to get things done that we haven't gotten done already, so that we can prepare for the next event or situation taking place. But it does appear as though we did have a busy last week, which I completely agree with, and from my own experience, absolutely. And again, heading into this week, it looks like most of the events or situations are leading into this week as well. There was a smaller indirectly related event or situation that was taking place last week. At the beginning of the week, I would say, if I had to place a guesstimate of time, I would say by no later than Wednesday, likely Monday or Tuesday, and possibly into Wednesday. And that was a whole like event in and of itself, a whole situation. And it joins the main event or situation taking place this week as well, that also began last week, heading into this week. And also heading into the weekend too, and into next week. There was some time though, however, between the beginning of the week and this main event or situation taking place. And again, if I had to place an estimate on time, it would be likely beginning on and around Monday evening or Tuesday. This indirectly related event, significant in and of itself. It's just that created 3 different scenarios, specifically 2, but also a third one, that ties in or relates or leads to whichever words you're comfortable with using, but it leads into this week as well. As an overall, this main event or situation, it is very sizable. So let's begin at this main event or scenario, looking at the beginning of the week. It does look like overall we are going to be knowing where we stand in regards to this entire scenario as individual events or scenarios, it's like a tapestry. So it's one main event or situation, however, it is comprised with individual smaller events or scenarios. So overall, generally speaking, we did and know where we stand with these individual scenarios. It's just that there are, again, surprise, surprise, surprises associated with this entire event, and there is a lot of things still up in the air, a lot of conversations, discussions, thoughts and ideas taking place. So even though things are like concrete, clarified, and we know where we stand with a great deal of all of this, there are specifically 2 sections involved in this whole event where things specifically are like being discussed up in the air still at the beginning of it. Absolutely began with maybe a little bit of a sense of not being entirely happy with the way that things were going. We may have been experiencing a very much of a short-term frustration, which I completely concur. There may have been one small scenario where we were maybe a little frustrated or felt a little bit of angst with the way that things were going. Beginning of the week, it's okay because it actually helped to create an opportunity. That specifically involved approximately 9 individual scenarios or aspects to it. There were a lot of conversations regarding this, and helpful people were definitely involved. I'm not too sure of the gender, but there was someone involved in that scenario, and there were 3 pieces of news regarding that individual, or they were involved in some way. But there was a helpful individual, and they had 3 pieces of news specifically, and that also helped to create a sense of unconventional stability and protection and reassurance. So sometimes, again, people ask, what is unconventional stability? To me, that just means, for example, I use examples a lot because I find in tea leaf reading specifically, it's the best way that I can relay information, because I literally have no idea 99% of the time what I am reading about. I have no idea, because whenever I have clients, I always say, don't tell me what you're asking. I don't want to know, because it helps me to keep objective. So I use examples a lot because, again, that conveys my thinking. So, for example, unconventional stability. It's something that is stable, but it's just unique. It's unconventional. So, for example, you create a store online, you sell boxes that you paint and you make money from them. It's something that's very unique and maybe even individual to you. It's just that it's not what people may think is like normal or conventional. It's a little bit different, unique. It did begin with a thought, an idea, and that quickly turned into this opportunity that I just mentioned a few moments ago. There have been some property involved in some way, shape, or form. Messages, news, and/or information was involved in that whole event. And it was good. I mean, there was a bit of a delay or angst, a little bit of frustration, but resulted in helpful people, abundance and prosperity, us beginning to see the fruits of our labor, protection. There's a lovely baby dragon in here, bearing a dragon charm as well. It's intense protection, intense love. There was some fast-paced movement with that individual scenario. There was some form of action, speed, momentum, things taking place rather quickly as well at the beginning of this whole event. New ideas, new concepts, new opportunities being contemplated. At the beginning of last week, there were opportunities, and they were different kinds. It was happening. It was almost like in all fronts. There was a conclusion, a new beginning, a new thought or idea that became rather a new opportunity. So a lot of opportunities. It's just taking place in different ways. A sense of happiness with all of this, positive messages, news, and or information specifically that was arriving involving an air sign, someone potentially who was an air sign. If not that specifically, then there was electronic communication. We were receiving news like that. So whether that was like text message, a phone, an email, something along those lines, and there was a Cancerian connection likely involved in that in some way, shape, or form. But there was really also stability involved in that specific scenario, as well as protection and reassurance. Things were really beginning to take place, really beginning to pick up, which makes sense because this looks like it was really in regards to or resulted from that one main event or scenario that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, where the week began with like one main area that was quite slow. We weren't too sure what was happening. It was like calm and clear and quiet, and or we want things to get moving. And it was the one that there was the more importance or more significance, and makes complete sense that it was calm and clear and quiet, a little bit of quiet, boom, things start taking place. Positive news and protection seems to be a theme that was present at the beginning of last week. Action, speed, momentum, things taking place. Messages, news, and or information that was present that was regarding reassurance, fast-paced news, receiving something tangible. But it involved abundance and prosperity in some way. I'm seeing the astrological sign of Cancerian for Cancer, the crab. And I keep seeing that. This is not referring to a time frame. This is definitely referring to someone who is that sign or those qualities of that sign. So like the home and family, intuition, emotional, nurturing, things along those lines. Person, place, or thing with the letters I and or L involved, as well as getting things organized, cleanliness, getting things tidied up, sorted out. There may very well have been a Libran connection in some way, shape, or form, which also came up in the last tea leaf reading. Abundance and prosperity in two different ways, in two different aspects, and that's regarding a woman involved one specifically. There was certainly happiness, and person, place, or thing with the letter S involved at the beginning of last week. There may have been a Scottish connection in some way, shape, or form. Letter M for Magdalene. Happiness, Scorpio connection, potentially. Also, certainly a feeling of moving forward at the beginning of last week in this scenario. There may have been forward movement in regards specifically to a child and or a sense of creativity. But there's two people who are walking forward, one who's walking, one who's actually running. So to me, that just means that there's, again, forward movement. Things are happening quickly. Things are moving ahead. There's really nothing holding us back. Things are moving ahead and moving along. A reminder that we are being divinely protected and that we are divinely protected. I'm saying that as a reminder for all of us too, but it looks like it was specifically was the case at the beginning of during last week. And heading into this week may actually be a departed loved one who is present, who is helping us during this entire scenario. The only defining features that I can really say is that the hair was worn possibly in a bit of a curled fashion at the beginning with the forehead, and they would have had a prominent chin, possibly a prominent nose. And this is a female. And again, this is a departed loved one. So if that matches a description that you know of a departed loved one, then you can take this as a sign that they are coming through in the tea leaves to say hello. Also as a reminder that they are present and helping. Open communication between two people. There's also a grouping here of two people embracing, smooching. So I'll leave that there and continue. Person, place, or thing with the letter J that's involved, that's a helpful individual. And again, there's that possible there's a Cancerian connection involved in that scenario. And as well as getting things organized, cleanliness, getting things tidied up, sorted out. And again, the sense of forward movement. Some of you may have felt like you got swept off your feet and romantically in last week. And if that's the case, then I'm certainly hoping that all is going well there. It looks like it was a good scenario. Switching and getting swept off your feet. That sounds like a really good week. Unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment. that is specifically regarding a situation where there is a helpful individual, a woman, as well as reassurance that's in. Again, we have a person, place, or thing with the letter M, M like in Magdalene, involved. That also involves two ideas, two opportunities that are being contemplated or were being contemplated and heading into this week. Specifically, there is a departed loved one who is assisting in that whole entire scenario. A time of feeling really good, feeling magical, feeling like things are just going very, very well. Receiving very good things, material abundance being present, helpful individual. Letter S, person, place, or thing. Reassurance, messages, news, and or information. Feeling really good. Communication that's fast-paced, and you're receiving physical, tangible pieces of news. In more than one case, actually. More than one piece of news. And by that I mean a letter, something comes in the mail, something that's tangible. Open communication. If I haven't said that before, I'm saying it again. Between two people. Person, place, or thing with a number 3 that's involved. And I keep seeing vacuums. So it's something to do with getting, there's some element here last week of really getting things organized, cleanliness, tidied up, organized, sorted out. Now this could, again, as tea leaf reading is, for me, how I read tea leaves is literal, symbolic, or both. It's an and or. But again, there's some kind of getting things organized, which was taking place all of last week. Again, we have the sense of forward movement, nothing standing in our way, things going very well. That specifically, though, involved surprises, and that was last week heading into this week. Person, place, or thing involved with that specifically with the letter M, letter E, that resulted in 2 specific opportunities. Letter E again present, so there's 2 E's and a C and or G. Things going quite quickly with that, moving forward, fast-paced messages, news, and or information. Possible Australian connection that came up last week as well, the last tea leaf reading, the most recent one. There really is a sense here of forward movement. I don't think I'll say that again just for the sake of not being repetitive, but I keep seeing people running and or moving ahead, literally walking ahead, jumping, running, and or walking. So therefore, again, there's just the sense of things moving forward very easily. Nothing standing in our way. Progression. Open communication between 2 people that involved a partnership of some kind, as well as messages, news, and or information that was some kind of surprise. And again, the letter M. A reminder that the angels are around us, as well as a potential possible Scorpio connection. Jubilation, happiness, abundance and prosperity, creativity, making new things, new creative projects. Swiftness of movement, possibly foreign travel, unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment. Abundance and prosperity. Now we're heading into this week. Letter S, person, place, or thing. Happiness, new opportunities being contemplated. Positive news on the way. Reassurance. This abundance and prosperity is involved with that specifically. It is very interesting because there is a fairly large grouping here with the letter E, very, very prominent letter E. And there's a lot of surprises associated with that. And as a result of that, it does create an abundance and prosperity in and of itself. It's a direct result from that being present. Unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment are present again. Things moving forward very quickly, very easily. There's a sense of action and speed with that. And protection and communication between 2 people. That involves multiple people working together. Upwards of 12 people involved in that scenario. I know it's springtime, but still there's a sense of creativity last week and into this week as well. Where there is, and it was in the previous tea leaf reading I did too, for March 27th and April 3rd, where there's all this burgeoning creativity, new beginnings, new creative projects. I keep seeing it here too. And it's present. It's present throughout this entire tea leaf reading. Now, whether that is referencing an actual child and or creating something new, I don't know. But it's one or the other or both. But this scenario that I just mentioned with the abundance and prosperity and the upwards of 12 people or so involved, that involves just freedom of movement, going for what you want, uninhibition, nothing standing in your way, and creativity. A woman with a prominent nose is involved in that as well. And this is helping to create multiple opportunities, specifically 3 of them. And again, we have the version of the letter M involved in that as well. That results specifically in with two people communicating. There's open communication, a sense of magic in a good way, going for what you want to have, knowing that you are protected, knowing that there is, if I'm not looking at the camera, it's because it's quite bright, but there is a sense of protection involved, going for what you want to have, reassurance, love, unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment intensely, forward movement, and helpful people involved. Number 3, letter H. Number 4, conversations, surprises. So I'll quickly take a look at this other section. And a lot of positive messages, news, and or information. Number 3, the letter B. A lot of reassurance regarding that. Wishes fulfilled. It's almost like being open to dreaming again, open to daydreaming, open to wishing and thinking, not even just wishing, but imagining the best and just being open and ready to live again. Does that make sense? Like living again and being excited about life and new opportunities that may be coming up for us and just being excited about those. Feeling alive again. Does that make sense? Independent thought, as well as, again, there's a cute little puppy in here. So unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment. And as well as there's a little cat face. So hence the independent thought. Helpful people, lots of reassurance. When I say reassurance, it doesn't mean anything bad, like, oh, we're in danger. It just means that there's reassurance that's present in that scenario. Person, place, or thing with the letters 3, F, C, and or G, and V. A sense of a new beginning, a regeneration. There may be an actual Scorpio connection. Creativity, using your analytical, critical thinking skills. Being open to magical, new, and exciting opportunities. Something new and unique. Happiness, jubilation, excitement. Working with other people. A reminder that the angels are always around us. You can always ask them for help should we wish to. A reminder that they are around helping us. But it's that whole free will consent thing too. You need to ask for help, but they are present. Divine help is always around us at all times. 5, letter E, C, a harmonious situation. And now we're heading into the base. Before we do that, though, I want to quickly look at this other event or scenario located at the top of the cup. It should be at the beginning of last week, just very quickly. A lot of it was really up in the air, quite literally. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of conversations taking place. Reassurance regarding one document specifically, love and protection, and abundance. Again, there may have been that short-term angst or frustration, but really there's so much reassurance and happiness and goodness around it. It was very much short-lived. It's one of those situations, I would say, where it's a matter of perspective. That's all. Happiness. Person, place, or thing with letter I 3 times. Protection. Many helpful people, actually. Abundance and prosperity. Messages, news, and or information regarding that, and two different pieces of news regarding regarding specifically that abundance and prosperity. Stability, creating new things, possibly money arriving, not money then additions to the family, but creating some kind of monetary arrival, if that makes sense, creating some welcoming in abundance and prosperity. A partnership that was beginning to take place. 3, you. And that situation created a very good scenario where there was a lot of happiness. A lot of things are still being up in the air and continuing all through the last week and this week. But a lot of protection around that, though, which is lovely to see. And a lot of conversations, specifically rather in one area. In the other section that leads into this week as well, letter N, J, E, those letters are involved. 3 again. And abundance in unique ways. Independent thought, thinking differently, acting differently. Unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment, being present. And that specifically is regarding this week. Helpful people, but a lot of love, protection. And then heading into the base. So that is this weekend. Much of the same, to be honest. The base is almost entirely covered with tea leaves. So I would say it's at least 90%, if not more than that, actually covered. So that just means to me that there's an incredible amount of things happening, incredibly busy. A lot of surprises, mostly as if from what I'm seeing, there are some things still up in the air, but it looks like we're going to really know where we stand with things, very generally speaking. There are a lot of surprises that Divine Source Creator does not want us to know right now, so I won't be looking into them too deeply, other than to say there's a lot coming that is really positive. specifically involves abundance and prosperity, working with others, creative partnerships, helpful people, most definitely abundance. Nothing can stop it. There really is a lot of abundance, a lot of harmoniousness, helpful individuals, specifically someone with a prominent nose, messages, news, and or information. But I just keep seeing a lot of trees, and for simplicity's sake, for myself, whenever I see trees in tea leaf reading, to me, abundance, that's what it represents. So there's just a great amount of abundance heading into this weekend, heading into next week, I would say. So I will leave it there. I hope that you found this tea leaf reading to be helpful and that you have an amazing rest of your week. I'm going to post this as soon as possible, as well as the previous tea leaf reading. Really just wanted to upload them both at the same time rather than playing catch up video to video. So again, thank you so much for all of your continued support and patience and kindness as I figure all of this out. So thank you so much again, and I hope again that you have a wonderful week ahead. It looks like it's going to be very, 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 very exciting, and heading into next week looks also incredibly interesting. So thank you so much again, and until next time, take care, and I will see you very soon. I am going to be posting a channel update likely within the next week or so. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. As promised, here are some pictures of this tea leaf reading. And as always, thank you so much once again for taking the time to watch my videos. I honestly, truly appreciate it, and I thank you for all of your help, your time, your patience, your support, and your understanding. If you haven't yet already, please do consider subscribing to this channel. It really helps my channel to grow, even though it sounds like a very small thing to do. Also, perhaps ring that bell for future updates and leave a comment in the comment section below and hit that like button. Thank you so much again, and I do look forward to seeing you soon.